For this video, I will be discussing the 1970s oil painting Caught by Philip Guston and the controversy surrounding it and other paintings fueled by the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Philip Guston was a Canadian-American painter born June 27, 1913 in Montreal, Canada. He would move to New York in his 20s, where he worked until his death in June of 1980. Guston's work was no stranger to controversy. His early works, such as the 1930 drawing Conspirators, often depicted members of the Ku Klux Klan. Philip's controversial early and late work was separated by a period of abstract art, where Philip seemed to be done drawing the Klansmen and instead focused on expression and style. The late 50s and early 60s would change this, however. The 50s and 60s in America was a time of change. The civil rights movement was in full swing, and people across the country were taking stand. The movement, with leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks at its head, gained overwhelming support. However, at this time, we also began to see the movement bring out those opposed to it. During this time, white supremacist groups such as the KKK saw increased membership as they tried to reverse the doings of the civil rights movement and showed disapproval to bills such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964. People were aware of this revitalization, and as a result, tensions were high between the groups. In response to this controversial and contentious period, Philip Guston returned to his depictions of KKK members, this time taking on a different style. Transitioning from his realistic early style of paintings, Guston's later work shifted to a more cartoonish depiction of the KKK members. Philip Guston's work called out racism and questioned the role of the white man, as well as the self-accountability that comes with that role. In response to the civil rights era, Guston released one of his most famous yet controversial works, the 1970 painting Caught. This painting depicts two Klan members, hands and hoods covered in blood, who have seemed to be caught in the act by this big red hand we see in the top right. The actions they are accused of are unmistakably racism. With the bloody hands and hoods, the viewer can infer just what wrongdoing may have taken place before. Big Red Hand seems to call out the members in the painting. However, the origin of the Big Red Hand is unknown to the viewer. This unknown origin causes the viewer to question what role the hand has in the painting. Is it their hand? Is it the artist's hand? Is it someone else's hand? Questioning the role of the artist, people began to think of Guston and where he stands in his artwork. A white man often depicting white supremacist groups like the KKK. Guston's work was often met with backlash as people questioned which side he was really on. This questioning is what made Guston's work great. Guston recognized his role as a white man and leveraged that in his work. By causing the viewer to question his role, Guston's work also forced the viewer to question their role as the accuser or the accused. With racism and social inequality still being an ongoing issue today, works such as Caught will always be met with outrage from some. However, by addressing these issues head-on, Guston, through his work, was able to spark conversations surrounding racism, as well as raising the question, what can I do as an individual?